I could have vibe coded another data table like I've done dozens of times before. I know exactly how all of this sorting, pagination, filtering stuff works, but this time I deliberately didn't do it. I have implemented TanStack with shadcn, and the interesting part is that working with battle-tested framework taught me more than re-implementing the same thing for the 10th time, and definitely more than vibe coding it. So in this video we walked through the decisions I made along the way, what I messed up, what I didn't understand, and what I learned. So the mental model and the TanStack data table is a little bit strange. You have this columns.ts file, which handles how the table will look like. These headers are passed in here. What it helps with is also reusability. This is just a TypeScript file, so I can pass here whatever I want. And this header, we are destructuring the column itself. Then we are passing the sortable table header function that I have written myself. I have to define it once. How the sorting works, we are using heavily this H. This view helper helps you use your view components in a normal TypeScript file, because this here is a normal utils.ts file. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Here we get from the column that is passed is sorted. We can use our generics here. So this sortable table header is truly reusable. It will work not only with brands where we are using it now, it will work with any type. We just have to add the function to the header and done, and then it's sortable. If I don't use this if statement, then we will not reset. So meaning the third time I click is always a reset. So it's ascending, descending, and this is checking if this is descending. If it's descending, it clears the sorting, meaning it is resetting. If I would remove this one, we have now, you see, now it's not resetting, and that was kind of pissing me off. That's why I had to add it there. This is the reusable table. It actually gets just a TanStack table. I had to extract it because I need the actions outside of the table. So this things, like the definition of the columns, what data it returns, I have extracted it one level up. So I now have a brands table, which is basically just a wrapper. So when I'm building the next table, I just need to redefine this stuff, because this is just the filtering. The filtering will always look a little bit different, and it works quite well. We can see here tech and then go into electronics industry, so they are working quite well. But still not implemented this pagination. It will be handled in the front end, not in the back end, because I don't expect those tables to be too big, to be honest. Maybe 1,000 records or something like that per table. I don't think that there's a need of handling this pagination in the back end for now. So one thing that got me stuck for quite a while was how to handle those action buttons. And with that, I mean those buttons, because those buttons, I want to have reusable icon buttons. So I defined my icon buttons. It's actually a very simple icon button that just here defined what kind of icon button type we have. Not doing anything special. We have here the definition what icon and what class we use, and here with the cn helper. So the problem that I encountered is how to propagate the information from this icon button up to the table component. We have the icon button, which lives in the active action buttons element. The action buttons element is just this one, just defines the buttons and adds an add click with an emit of edit and the ID. The ID is passed down as a prop. So, and this action buttons element is actually passed to the table in the columns.ts, like so. The problem was that I couldn't do it like that the way the documentation was showing it's supposed to be done. This is what the documentation was showing. The problem is here I have no way of passing down into this variable the emits and the events that are coming from my actions column. The only way I found out that it is right, I did ask AI for help at one point. It gave me a mostly useless answer, but it gave me the idea that I can use create brand columns function where I can pass the handlers and then return the columns, which will be invoked in our brands table. Here's our brands table, and here's also our columns. We are just calling create brand column. Alright folks, that's all I want to talk about. I have been playing around with the TanStack data today, and it's an awesome tool. Everything from TanStack I've touched up until now is very good, and you can learn a lot from it. In the next video I will finish up my CMS project. So my first one, I have still 2 to go. It's still not finished. I have to test a lot of stuff, so I will make a video about that, what my findings are in the back end. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.